everyone, it's MissQueenCrypto. Today I am here in the Bitcoin Lounge with Joe Sags.
Hey everyone, nice to be back, obviously on screen, here with MissQueenCrypto as we build a new YouTube channel, Embily based, something that's going to keep the flow moving toward education, and obviously I'm going to be around to talk some charts, but excellent to have Maddie on the team to help us keep a social presence online.
So today we were hoping to talk about the executive order that Joe Biden put out, the new cryptocurrency executive order, since that's something that if you don't know too much about government involvement with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency can seem like a very big deal and something that's really scary and threatening. So we wanted to clear up some misconceptions and shed a different perspective on things.
So yeah, I guess being in the space for so long, this is a pretty recurring issue, right? How do governments control cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular? And this is something that I just see, whether it's China, Russia, USA, a number of countries over the past number of years. It's been, trying to figure out how do we put a cap on this? How do we maintain control when we clearly have something that's off the rails, right? An unstoppable force, and the government's trying to be an immovable object here. So we keep getting this constant government's attempt at controlling cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and then we get what the executive order news came out and said, which was, very vague. I think we're going to wait and see kind of approach. Again, and this is in my 7 years time since 2015 in cryptocurrency, I've seen this pop up a lot, and in the past 5 years since I've been actively full time, I've seen it pop up a ton. So this to me is no news at all. How would you say this affected you mentally in any way?
I think the fear of before it was published, before it was put out, just the fact that there was going to be an executive order on cryptocurrency made it seem a lot scarier than it is, especially since without passing through Congress, with it just being an executive order, there are fewer checks and balances in place. So executive orders can be a little bit more rash and harsh, since you can't expect it coming. So if it was something super drastic, obviously later there would have to be more congressional things put into place. But in the moment, it could have a very serious impact on things. But once it came out, the executive order was more of an assessment approach, assessing the risks of cryptocurrency and what could be done to further contain it, I guess. But it wasn't anything that was super overreaching or overbearing as of right now.
Yeah, that's true, and that was a very deep dive into I think the macro elements of what it means, executive versus any other type of order. And maybe the shortcuts that can be done, and then the damage that could result from that. Kind of ignorant, shoot first, ask questions later type governance, let's say. But yeah, it's the lucky, fortunate thing about cryptocurrency, and let's say Bitcoin in particular, is that you have global participation here. So if one country decides that they want to, let's say, shut out this technology and allow the rest of the globe to participate, they're really kind of cutting off their own foot here. So I think that this stuff is going to end up being adopted or focused on. The government's going to try to stay relevant in some way, but they're going to find that it's actually the young people that got involved already and built these programs, and for example, Bitcoin built that already, been done, decentralized, kind of successfully achieved decentralization, anonymity. Can't even tell who Satoshi Nakamoto is. It's how much can you actually do if you are a government trying to put a break on any of this?
I think a lot of it is about trying, an attempt to put the brakes on it, because before the government would endorse mass adoption, they want to be able to control it, or at least have a semblance of control over it, so they're not just letting something run free. But I don't know if they realize how difficult of a task that would be, and how near impossible that would be.
Yeah, so with that being said, it basically puts us back at, every time I see an article along the lines of government or the state trying to intervene with the growth or whatever of cryptocurrency, whether it's going to be imposing some sort of capital restrictions or anything like this, right, on like New York State with the bit license, which is clearly restrictive on tons of businesses. Anything like that, that's an active thing that I'm gonna see in the news, and I would rather see something happen and then react to it at this point in my Bitcoin career, in my crypto career, after having seen so many legislations or attempts at legislation. It's like there's no point in even moving a muscle until you see something happen. It's like the bit license was probably one of the most significant things, and that just made a lot of businesses not want to operate in New York State. The didn't stop crypto. It just kept it from really being adopted and widely used in New York City, where even the mayor says he wants to get paid in Bitcoin. So yeah, it's a complete nothing burger in my eyes, and it will probably continue to be nothing burgers for most of the time that this article would be relevant, or this would be a headlining type article. And I would say, just wait, let the shot get fired first, and then react. In this particular case, let China ban Bitcoin and then react to that. Do you have any thoughts?
It's different, like the perspectives of different countries on it. Like I was thinking back to El Salvador and how their mass adoption was kind of the opposite. Like the government fully embraced it and knew that they couldn't impose any control on it, but that was part of the beauty of it, versus the United States trying to hold back on adopting it. And so instead they're putting more and more regulations and rules around cryptocurrency. And I think that'll be an interesting difference to watch pan out.
Yeah, and even more to add to that, I appreciate what El Salvador did. The president is very vocal on Twitter, especially about their Bitcoin moves and so forth. And El Salvador, bought some dips, bought some deeper dips. They bought when their blood was running in the streets. That's buy when there's blood in the streets, even if it's your own. El Salvador did that, and they came out, sold as a country, whatever, at a higher price point, and bought hospitals or something. It's very interesting that this is a very positive example of a nation taking a lead in cryptocurrency adoption, and all while, let's say, other countries are still focusing on the brakes of such an operation, when it's probably going to end up being a situation where the competition is going to grow in time, as it has with consumers, and then to corporations, and countries are going to be probably some of the highest driving forces of the value of cryptocurrency, right? It's a closed loop, economy in that sense. There's a maximum supply, right? So clearly, if countries get involved, even if someone like El Salvador bought 200 Bitcoin back in 2021, in 10 years from now, when this competition is raging, and USA wants to buy 100 Bitcoin, one Bitcoin could be worth $10 million a piece at that point. So who knows? The most important thing here is to acknowledge that there's countries that are trying to focus on the BRICS. There's countries that are trying to focus on allowing this thing to run a track that is probably going to change the world either way. And I think that's probably the best side of the fence to be on as far as history is concerned. So executive order, I hear you. The fears are there, but I just can't say I'm ever going to be affected by a news article unless someone comes knocking at my door, about cryptocurrency. It's just news is just going to affect markets, and that's all I see it as.
That's a good perspective on it.
Yeah, so that kind of wraps us up for today. Quick focus on the politics, which are again a big nothing burger. They come and they go, and I wouldn't lose any sleep on it. So Maddie, being that you're the one kind of newest to the space, why don't you calm everyone down, and we can say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah. So basically, to sum it all up, deep breaths. We don't really have too much to worry about. It's more of a fear-mongering situation than anything super tangible that's going to affect us. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, you should like it, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter at MissQueenCrypto. And of course, follow Joe at Joe_Saz.
Yeah, you can obviously find me on social channels at Joe_Saz, ideally Instagram these days, and then Maddie will be putting out a show at least once a week from now, and we'll keep the train running, and I will be doing price updates on my Insta, so that's going to be the main place for not long form stuff, but I know a lot of my people out there want to still see. So love you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on Insta. Yeah, look forward to growing this channel with you all.